Welcome to the show, friend. Delight to be with you. We are broadcasting from our temporary studios here in Memphis, Tennessee, because we are here so that one of our sons could be treated for cancer at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. I ask you please to keep him in your prayers that he will beat this and live a long and normal and healthy life. The program that you're about to see is a part of a 7-part series. So if you missed yesterday's show or if you miss any of what's coming up, I encourage you to go to our website, voiceofresistance.com, and watch the entire series. It is on self-defense, the use of force, justice, the role of self-defense in government. And I want you to know that some of the material that we cover may not be appropriate for smaller children. I leave it to you to discern. You know your children's ages, you know what they're capable of seeing. Want you to know that ahead of time as one dad to another parent. There are a lot of people currently who want to take away our right to self-defense, and they certainly have no interest or even knowledge of the history of the Second Amendment. This series is an antidote to that. So, wherever you find yourself on the spectrum regarding the right to self-defense, I promise you that this series will give you food for thought and hopefully provide some strength in your soul to defend that right. Enjoy the series. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Voice of Resistance. It is I, your servant, Randall Terry. I want to talk to you today, part 2 of a series on your right to own weaponry. Now, if you missed yesterday's show, go and see it online. It is critical. It has history and theology in it regarding the right of self-defense and the right to own weapons to do that. All right? So if you have to go online, look for the show that aired on January 10th. All right? Again, I want to suggest, at least for this segment, that if you've got small children in the room, you ask them to scoot out. My wife and I were talking last night, and we both agreed we would rather have our children see firearms, no problem, they see them all the time, learn proper gun safety, and even have them see some of the horrific images involving Holocausts, such as the Jews being killed in Nazi Germany, or the horrific slaughter that happened in Rwanda or in Cambodia, or the killing of babies in America. We'd rather have them see those two items because one involves self-defense, the other involves horrific atrocities and injustice that we are raising them to oppose, than for them to be surrounded with common household items and have it be in their brain that these are murder weapons, Mommy and Dad. In other words, it seems so destabilizing to my wife and I. We said, let's not even talk about that with our children around. Agreed? Agreed. All right. The first principle of something is the heart and soul of any argument or conclusion that comes from that first principle. In other words, if you believe that the state is the ultimate master and that the state can regulate free speech or the freedom to own a firearm, at that point you provide arguments and you come to conclusions that uphold your premise or your first principle. The first principle that we are functioning under is that we have a God-given right to defend ourselves from evildoers on our own property, but also from the government. And later on in this program, I'm going to discuss that at length. But I want to recap and make a couple of interesting points regarding these items. What you have here are assault weapons, all right? This is an assault weapon. This battery, a common assault weapon. Scissors, used to murder. A wife murdered her husband in England, plunging her sewing scissors into his chest. Shoelaces. A man and a woman arrested in Texas for strangling a pawn shop owner to death. Every single item that you see here was used to commit a murder. Well, I mean, not actually these. The ones that were really used are tucked away somewhere in a district attorney's office. But every single one of these items was used either in America or in England or in Russia to commit a horrific, violent murder. Men killing women, women killing men, men beating each other to death or beating someone to death with a baseball bat, etc. Do we want to ban these? Do we want to have people get a permit to carry a flashlight, a shovel, a belt, shoelaces? In prison, all right, in a slave labor camp, you can't have these things. I've actually been to jail many times, spent over a year of my life in various jails and prisons because of my peaceful opposition to the killing of babies. They take your shoelaces, okay? They take your belt. You don't get to have a flashlight. You certainly don't have a wrench or a knife or a rock. And murders still happen in prison. And speaking of prison, let's talk about Russia. People whine and complain about all the murders committed by guns in America. In Russia, you can have a shotgun. You have to have permits to have a shotgun. And then after 5 years of owning a shotgun and being a part of some sportsman's training group, then you can buy a rifle. You are never allowed ever to own a handgun. Zero. No semi-automatic weaponry with a handgun, all right? They do allow you to have a rubber shooting air gun, a rubber bullet shooting air gun for self-defense. Russia's murder rate is 10.2 per 100,000. That's per capita. America's is 3.9. Russia has a 2.5 times higher murder rate than America, but they have incredibly restrictive gun laws. In Brazil, every single gun has to be registered. You have to be 25 years old to have a gun. You have to pay a fee every 3 years. And their murder rate is 20. Did you hear that? 20 per 100,000. Ours is 3.9, Brazil's is 20. The point is simply this, that restrictive gun laws don't make the murder rate go down. It's a fallacy. It's a lie. All right? And when you can have every single one of these items, these common items, be used in a murder, as they are used in Russia or in England or in the nations with the most restrictive gun laws in the world, you have to come to grips with the fact that murder is going to happen. It's a tragedy. But if somebody is coming at you with a frying pan and you just happen to have a pistol in your pocket and you draw down on them, guess who wins? The dude carrying the pistol. When we come back, I am going to play the clip from Joe Biden's call for tyranny, in which he threatens that Obama is going to act with or without Congress. I think that they need to take great pause and heed the warning of a lot of good people, that that is the stuff that revolutions and convulsions are made of. I'll be right back.